Okay, so I am here interviewing Jill Horton, and she is a friend that I have found on um, Facebook. Well, kind of on Facebook, right?
Yeah, kind of, sort of.
We took a class together, so and that's where we did most of our communicating on, wasn't it? Anyway, so I wanted to talk to you kind of about um, what it is you do and learn more about you.
Okay.
So, um, now I honestly don't know if you work with your husband or not. So, can you answer that? Tell us, do you work with him? Does he do anything to help you with your with your job or what?
We don't actually work together on what I do right now. I'm a certified life coach, certified group life coach, and an emotional intelligence practitioner now. And he gives me feedback and like bounce things off of him. So like we do collaborate in that sense, but he's a supervisor where he works and I help him in regards to like feedback the same way. So we don't technically work together, but we help each other with our respective jobs, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that does make sense. And as spouses, we do that kind of thing. We kind
Yeah.
of like help make things easier for each other.
Right.
So sometimes my husband will come home and he'll talk about, like how obnoxious somebody is or whatever.
Right. We're great sounding boards. We help calm that down, give each other
Yeah,
feedback, stretch the
exactly.
day. Hey, it's what spouses do.
That's right. And if it wasn't for for somebody else to talk to, sometimes we wouldn't be able to handle stuff either. And
Right.
I think in our job as online people, if we didn't have those people to sound off of, we'd have a lot more. We wouldn't be as successful.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Wouldn't be near the same level without having that support and that help. No, for sure.
Yeah. So, um, let's see. Next question. Well, I think we actually answered my next question. How do you resolve different views about business decisions? Like,
Oh, how do we resolve different views on businesses?
yeah,
Uh,
on business decisions. Like for you, you guys don't actually work together, so for you, it's probably more financial, correct? Like,
oh, yeah, yeah. We've been together for almost 20 years now. Like we were high school sweethearts and everything. So for us, it's been more like something we've learned how to do over time. And my advice would be to just get your comfortable system, in place where you both get to a level of like open communication. For us, what we do is we just talk every day about what's going on and like we are a part of what each other's doing financially. Like we both know where each other is and what each other needs as far as like financial responsibilities and like if one or the other of us is saving up for something, then like we help each other. So
yeah,
that's the best I can do with that one since we don't work together.
yeah, but we all, because it's a partnership.
Oh,
As husband and wife, we run a partnership, and so therefore, even if we're not working, we're working in life together. So,
exactly, love that. Yes.
um, now let's see here. So, since you don't work with your spouse,
Uh-huh.
per se, what is your favorite date night?
What is my favorite? What now? I'm sorry.
Date night, like maybe
Oh,
not a
date
date
night.
night, but like a
Oh,
date.
Actually, this is kind of nostalgic for us, but like when we first got together when we were teenagers, there was this lake we liked to go to, and it had this big, long walking trail, and you could go out and sit on the dock. And so, like, for us, if we got the time to do it, we'd go back there and just, it is so calm. There's nothing but all these trees around it. And this dock, it kind of does this waving motion. So you can sit on it and feel like you're like on the water itself. It's very fun. Just like I
Oh,
said,
that
nostalgic.
sounds fantastic. I can't imagine. That just sounds like something I would truly enjoy.
Yeah.
I love this, like, I live out in the mountains, like,
Oh,
so my town is like really small. And so it doesn't matter where I'm at in my town,
uh-huh.
I'm like right in the middle of the mountains. So I'm I love the scenery and nature and
Oh,
all that
yeah.
sort of thing. I'm really into that. So yeah, that sounds like my kind of thing.
Yeah. For us, like we live in town, like we live in a rural town, but we live in town. So there's not stuff like that. Like we have to go somewhere for it. So it makes it all the more special because it's not something that we get to do every day. But it just sounds so beautiful where you are too. It's just like, yeah, total cup of
Yeah,
tea.
I'll have to send you pictures because it's really pretty. Just, I think you would enjoy it. Um, so okay, now down to business. We're gonna discuss
Uh-oh.
your business now.
Okay.
Um, so, uh, how did you come about deciding what you were gonna do? Like, how you, um, how did you decide you're gonna do what it is that you actually do online?
Oh, oh,
Sorry
well,
for.
it's kind of a two-part answer, I guess. First of all, like I've always liked helping people. And that's what life
Mhm.
coaches do, and EQ, emotional intelligence practitioners, like that's um, the perfect blending of two worlds because it helps people reach their goals on a deeper level. I absolutely love it because it helps people really look at where they are and where they want to be and get that bridge, right?
Yeah.
And so for me, if it's perfectly into what I already love doing, and it's just like you mentioned earlier, we both took that class together and we talked about like um, who we want to serve, right?
Yeah.
And so those questions in that class really helped me start thinking about, well, what do I want to do? Who
Mhm.
do I want to serve, right? And so the other answer to that is it was actually through the process of going through that course that I came to that. I was originally doing trainingtabby.com, and it was all about spreading messages of kindness, hope, happiness, helping people be less stressed out. And
Yeah.
so I took what I was doing and I've developed it since, spring. And now
Yeah.
it's been moved over to trainingtabby.world, and it's more encompassing of all people. I love it because like the dot world part, it really is more of a pulling everyone together and just instead of just being like this little tiny bubble, it's able to bring people from all over together. So
Mhm.
it's just kind of a blend of those two, really.
Yeah. Say again exactly what it is that your website is. Ro- Your website, the address. What is it?
Oh, the address. I'm sorry. Like I said, I can barely hear, so I'm trying to I'm like, okay. It's trainingtabby.world. So it's TRAINING training, and then tabby like
Okay.
a cat, TABBY .world. Yeah.
Okay. And so, how did you come up with that name?
Oh, actually, a couple years ago, I worked for Transcribe Me, and I was a transcriptionist there. And they had this cool thing where, since it's from people all over the world, uh, they have a central place that you can chat with people and get all of your information from like what you're doing for work, right? Like any work cues, things like that. It's kind of all centralized, but it's spaced out where you have like groups where you can join and talk to people with specific interests. And so there was one group called Say Nice Things, and a woman was running it, but she didn't really do anything with it, right? Like she kind of got on there every now and then, and there really wasn't much going on with it. So I got on there and started just kind of building people up. And when she left Transcribe Me, no one was there to be the admin. Okay. Mm-hmm. So I took over. And then I started doing this like daily quote thing, this motivational quote. And that really took off. Suddenly people started joining the group. And I saw that there was this desire for people to get positive, encouraging messages. Okay, that's part one. Over here in part two, though, for Training Tabby, there was a group called Coffee Shop. And people would go in there and just talk like you would if you were having coffee with somebody. But there was a lot of people who liked animals. And they didn't have a group. So everybody was in there talking about animals, and people got really hateful. They're like, would all you cat people please get out of here? Quit talking about cats and talk about coffee. So I'm like, okay, cool. So I stepped up and I made a group just for those people. And the first thing I ever posted about was Moses, our original cat. We have two now. We have a little kitten who looks like his little mini me. But Moses is the template and the mascot for Training Tabby. And people just like really responded positively to it, and seeing everyone from the community come together. And then a lot of people from Say Nice Things coming over here to Pet's Place. It was like, oh, that's it. So it just came from a combination of those two. And a lot of people just respond better to animals than they do to people. And I wanted them to have this sort of place, the website now, right, where people could come together and feel like they had a calm place to be, where they could be accepted. And that's it. If I do it from the spin of the cat's telling the story and I'm just helping the cat, it's more fun, lighthearted, and people can open up in ways that they wouldn't necessarily otherwise. So, long answer, but there you go.
I love the long answer.
That's the nitty-gritty, like real talk stuff.
Yeah. I love that kind of stuff because I'm one of these people who is, you've got your highlights. And then you've got, when you read a story, you see the highlights. Yeah. And those are the things that usually catch your attention, right?
Right.
But they don't give you a whole lot of detail. They're not
I follow you.
They don't tell you everything about the reason why somebody did something or whatever, the story that
right.
But when you read every word, you get so much more detail. And so my brother-in-law, I don't know if he's gonna appreciate me mentioning him, but he is a really big he works for a really big company, and he's like the head guy, like right underneath the CEO kind of guy. And when you ask him something, like I asked him recently about how he met his wife, because we just met him. His brother-in-law, I just met. Long story short, it's because of DNA. But I'm sure I'll share this story eventually. But he's a very pinpoint guy, like.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I met her here, and I married her here, and then we had 4 children. That's really not telling me a whole lot.
You're like, thanks, but what's the rest? I want the meat. Give me the gravy. Come on.
Yeah. So anyway, okay, back to our little thing of interviewing you and learning more about you.
Are you kidding me? This is great. This is fun. This is how it should be.
Yes, of course. This is always how it should be. I was so nervous about doing this because I'm not used to being in front of a camera. And I'm like, I was freaking out.
Oh.
And then getting on here, it was just like getting on with a friend and just talking.
Right.
Which, of course, I mean, that's what we were doing. We've done this, like, how long? We were in the class together for several weeks, months.
Oh, yeah, we've known each other since, like, February.
Yeah.
But
so, like, we've been doing this for a while, talking to each other. But this is the
Exactly.
first time that it's business related that we're doing it for each other.
That's so funny. But it's true, you know? It works.
Exactly.
You look great, by the way.
Thank you so much. So, what is the most extraordinary thing you've ever done in your job? Your
What's the most
online
extraordinary
job?
thing I've ever done in my job?
Yeah, most
Okay.
extraordinary.
I guess right now I would say building the whole thing myself from the ground up. Like when I first started, I literally did not know how to do anything, but I built my website all by myself. Like every single thing I have done, I have learned by either taking classes like we did together or like researching the heck out of it and then practicing. Like I'm getting into video now, and that's like a whole new beast, you know, because remember we were told that video is gold, right? And it is. It's a great way to connect with your audience. It's a great way to give them more. Like we're talking about, you know, you want the meat and the gravy. You don't want just this little tiny like highlight reel thing. That's cool and all, but you know, so long story made short, I would say just like the level of commitment, because even though I'm not where I want to be right now, just because I really want to be able to reach more people and help more people than I feel like I'm able to or am right now, it's about building that foundation though. I don't mind, because I would rather serve people on that kind of deep level of commitment. It does take taking the time to learn things and build and practice, you know. So I would say just, you know, the time to really put everything together and not stress. Hardest lesson learned is embrace imperfection.
That's right.
Yep.
That's right. That is so true. Don't worry about the little stuff. Just get it
Yeah.
done. Just do it. Because when you do just do it, you have something to hold on to, something that you can say, I did. Matter of fact, talking about embracing imperfection, I'm actually getting ready to talk to a um, publisher. I have never handed any of my stuff over for publishing ever, other than what's written on my website.
Oh,
So, embracing imperfection.
you have to though. You know, that's how, like, honestly, what you're doing with your world, everything that you've been building, it's the same thing. You're building real connections. You're really truly getting out there helping people, you know, and I've got to watch you grow, and that's been just amazing. I'm so proud of you for everything you've accomplished, you know. And it's just, it's going to be better for you and your audience because you're investing. And I can guarantee them you're investing because I've watched you build, and it's exciting, you know?
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Welcome.
So, Jill, now, of course, as you know, my blog is kind of a Christian blog, kind of
Uh,
faith-based. So I know that you're you have something. So what is your faith, and how does that play a part in your business?
what is my faith and how does that play part in my business?
Mm-hmm.
Um, my faith isn't really something I could easily describe in a little box because it's something that's grown over the years. It started out as, you know, just your simple going to church and listening, but it's developed more into taking in other people's opinions and viewpoints and trying to honestly put myself in their shoes, and the whole do unto others as you have them do unto you. It's expanded and it's grown. So I'm not going to give you a straight answer on that because it takes too long. But how does it affect me? Well, I just think that you should really treat people well. You know, it all comes down to, it doesn't matter what faith you come from or, you know, what you believe, as long as at the end of the day, you truly are contributing to other people, caring about them and nurturing them, nurturing those relationships and giving people the help. Like if it's in your power to help someone else, help them, right?
Exactly.
It's not hard to just even reach out and say, hey, how are you doing? Are you okay? You know, I noticed maybe you look kind of down today or just whatever. So I would say my faith really comes into play there. Because I've grown up in that sort of Christian environment, if you will, where we read the Bible, we'd play games and we'd like try to memorize Bible verses and things like that. But now I kind of shy away from saying specifically that stuff as far as like, oh, I'm a Christian or this and that, because I feel like some people would shy away from having those open communications, right? Like I believe that a lot of people believe in the same thing, but just maybe call God different names or what have you. So encompass all of that, definitely hold those Christian beliefs, but expand it. You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, because I'm like, maybe I just totally went off the rails there and that made no sense whatsoever, but like, that's what I believe. I believe you should just, take something you learn and don't just accept that at face value, but really grow, learn, research for yourself, and incorporate others into that process. Like
Yeah.
you do this, I learn from you, you learn from me, and we build on each other's faith. That's what I'm trying to say. Build on each other's faith. Yes.
Excellent. So, now here's the nitty gritty. Here's the part where it becomes really in your face.
Oh, I like in your face. Okay.
So, as entrepreneurs,
Uh-huh.
people who go out and try to help other people who have never heard of us before,
Uh-huh.
it can be rather daunting.
Right.
And so, how do you deal with that moment where you feel very daunted and very maybe even um insecure about
Ah,
your job?
simple. It's taken a long time to come to this point and get comfortable with this because when you met me, I was super shy and wasn't even on social media at all. So
Yeah.
I learned the easiest thing is to just be blunt with people, honest, and be like, man, I'm really feeling like nervous right now. Just it's funny because it's an icebreaker. You wouldn't think that, but being vulnerable, maybe like you've heard that a lot lately too. It's kind of going around the net, but be vulnerable. Be okay with being honest with people and open that conversation because you would be surprised how many people are like, yeah, I'm feeling really anxious too. And then it like opens this conversation where you both just start talking. And I guess you just want to break down those barriers. For me, that's the easiest way to be myself is to just tell people, man, I'm feeling really anxious right now, or, whew, I don't know if I'm going to come across totally like a dingbat, but I mean, just say that kind of stuff. People laugh, Get
Yeah.
people into your world and get into theirs in the process too.
Well, it's because more than likely, as my mom always used to say, everybody puts their pants on one leg at a time.
Not necessarily. You could try to jump into both at the same time. You'd fail, but some
You might
people
fail and break your nose at the same time.
are still going to try it though, There's those rogues out there.
But we all have to, we all have to put our pants on at some point, and we all have to get up and do something. And it's not always this easy, like I have a 2-year-old daughter or
Yeah.
granddaughter, and she is learning how to dress herself. And she has to, I have to help her put her pants on, and well, her mom does. She doesn't live with me, but we the adults around her have to help her learn how to do her stuff.
Uh-huh.
And yet she doesn't go, oh, well, there's no way I can do this. I'm not doing it. She just does it because she sees everybody else doing it. And I think that's one of those things where we have to just say, okay, I can do this because one, somebody out there needs me.
Oh yeah.
And two, it's not that new. You know, it's not that new. There's been hundreds of people who have done this, online thing. And so we just have to like jump in, do it. And, like you said, be honest. Because everybody is probably feeling it at some point. Okay, so I think I'm getting close to the end of my interview, actually. The end of my list of, I have a list of questions I wanted to ask you.
Feel free to ask away. Like I said, I mean, I'm having trouble hearing, but I think that's just on my end. So if I don't hear something, we can always repeat it. I'm fine continuing to go if you have more you want to ask, is what I'm saying.
I do. I have a few more. So, what does your typical work day look like?
There is no such thing as typical. Embrace imperfection. My first thing is I used to be the kind of person who had to have everything like super planned out. It had to go just exactly like this. Nope, forget that. It doesn't work. Structure is good, and I do have somewhat of a structure, but let's be honest, that's just going to drive you bonkers. Life, it does never works that way. Being entrepreneurs, like we kind of have it a little bit of an advantage over other people in the sense that I'm not driving somewhere at 7 or 8 o'clock in the morning. I'm not having to clock out at noon for lunch. If I'm working on a project and stuff runs over and it's like 2 or 3 before I eat, oh, well, whatever. You know what? That's okay. I can do that. I can stay focused on a project. And sometimes that's the way it is. Typically, like I'll get stuff done first thing in the morning that's like catch up on communications, right? Because I love to give people my full attention. If somebody emails me or somebody like comments on a post or whatever, I want to take the time to really give them that, that feedback and not just be like, you know what I mean? So that kind of stuff's first thing, because I'm at my freshest and I can really focus on giving people my all. And then, I'll kind of go to working on projects, editing content. If I've got graphics to do, I kind of break that up into it because visual arts is something that's always kind of helped me get more creative ideas, and my writing is better when I stop and take those little breaks to be creative, right? To those aspects, because like it's important to add those kind of things to our blogs anyways, or what have you. And since I do affiliate marketing too, that's kind of the part of the day where I'll start working on that stuff, bringing it in, and then throughout the day I'll keep up with those other communications, like midway, whatever, stop and do that. And then the rest of the day is catching up on things that need to be done, little odds and ends. But I guess I'd say bigger projects earlier in the day, and then the rest of the day when I'm not necessarily at my best and can't give people 100%, I wouldn't say focus, but just engagement, then I'll work on other things. Because that's the most important thing to me is right up front, hey, be there 100% for people. So do it first.
Yes, definitely. I see the same thing. I'm the same way. Like, first thing in the morning, I'm like, pick up a few odds and ends that I missed yesterday, and then move on from there to more bigger, more pressing matters. Tend to be a put out the fire type person. My mother used to get so upset with me.
Oh, Lord. That's so funny. My dad was a firefighter, so it always amuses me when I hear this expression, because he'd tell you about every single fire hydrant in town, what color it was, meant how much pressure was in it, and like you couldn't go anywhere without him talking about the fire hydrants or what codes this building had or this, that. Like he'd just get full throttle on it. And so it cracks me up when I hear put out fires, because I'm like, there is so much more behind that fire than people think about. It's like I think of that other level, just like so many levels, metaphoric and real,
Yeah. That's interesting. I had no idea your father was a firefighter.
Yeah. He was an EMT. He was a firefighter. He was actually a police officer for a while. Jack of all trades, I guess. Yeah, he started out as a police officer, which is pretty funny because it's just like, I didn't know that till much later in life. I was like, you were a police officer? Before he ever even moved here. And then like he became an EMT and a firefighter, and then he was eventually a fire marshal, and like it was his job to like go investigate the fires and try to figure out how they started and stuff. So that was pretty cool, right? Like I dig that kind of stuff. I like investigative type of stuff. That's why I do journalism, right?
Yeah.
And so like he also he also was a storm chaser, and he would chase the freaking tornadoes and stuff like that. We even had like a rain gauge in our backyard growing up in the 80s. Like it was crazy because we'd have this rain gauge and we'd have to be home. Like we'd have to be home at a certain time because it was his job to like mark the temperature at an exact specific time, mark the rain at exact specific time if it was raining. It was just like, crazy. It was a big deal, right? So I guess that kind of like bleeds over into adult life now because that's kind of like the mentality I have is, all right, there's a bigger picture here. Right? There's so much when people know and the responsibilities and things. But there's this great story. Everyone has this amazing, crazy backstory. And I love that. Like, I love hearing about yours and the stuff that's going on in your world. And, anyone I meet is just like, man, I wonder what their story is, right? It's like people are so more complex than, face value, like bullet points like we were talking about earlier. So, yeah, that's.
Yeah. Well, okay. So we haven't really actually discussed exactly what you do with people to actually help them out. So I need to give that time to you to actually discuss that. And I feel like what we just discussed just now kind of leads to that. Like,
oh,
do what you do, and what do you do?
Actually, a lot like what we're doing right now. Like, I do one-on-one with women like this, and just like I talk to them and find out what's going on, what it is that they're hoping to accomplish, their dreams and things like that. And I incorporate the EQ into it. And I've got like an intake questionnaire I do. And so before you even start working with me, I get a good feel for what you want. What are you hoping to accomplish in life? And then like we work together to figure out how you can get from point A over here to point C, and I'm at point B. Like I told one person basically, like, I help you snatch back that pen and rewrite what's on the page, right? Because you are a very powerful person. You do have unlimited potential. And sometimes you just need somebody to kind of brush off the dust or erase that line and help you see that, right? I'm working on e-courses like for everybody, but one-on-ones I do with women only. And I'm actually like just starting the group coaching, and it's the same thing. Like that's women only too, because women typically are a lot more likely to open up and talk if there's not guys involved, right? Because we get into some topics, sometimes we just want it to be all gals, right? So that's what I do. It's kind of like what we're doing right now, but it's just like it's specific to what you individually want, and then, tailoring it to how to help you. So it's exciting. I love it. I get passionate talking about it.
And that's the reason why you do what you do, because you're passionate about it. You want to help someone, and you want to help see them succeed. So that's the reason why it's, it comes from your heart. So, and then again, I need you to mention your URL again, just so that people catch it, because if they've heard what you've said and they want it, we need to, give it to them so that they can.
Okay. It's trainingtabby.world, training, TRAINING, and then tabby like a cat, .world, WORLD. And right now it's in transition because I moved everything over from .com. I'm going to change hosts. So if you don't see what you're looking for, email me at jill@trainingtabby.world, and I will hook you up with information from there.
Okay, and I will make sure that I get those links on my site so that you have them, so that people have them so they can get to them. And then let me update it when you do.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you.
That way everybody will be able to access it. And let's see. I can't anything. All of a sudden my brain went just wiped clean. I don't know. And I don't have any more extra questions. I ran out of questions.
Okay. That's okay. I hope that I've been a really good interviewee for you and made this like fun and easy for you.
Oh, this was fun. This was like, it didn't even feel like work.
Good. See, and now you got like a good feeling going into the next one and the next one and the next one. You're like, I can do this.
I know. I
Yeah.
can do this.
Yeah, I believe in you. And you are very fun to do an interview with. Let me just tell you, it's relaxed. You that know, for me to say this is a huge compliment and speaks very much to your capabilities to do this, because you know how shy that I have been. And for me to say that is truly like, I believe in you and you are doing a good job.
Yeah, because like, what was it? Like about 4 weeks ago or so, I wanted to do
Huh?
a video call with you. And you said, no,
Yeah, I get shy.
we're not going to do it. And I'm like, come on, we can do this. You're okay.
Yeah, but so now I like help other people do that and get over it. And it's like I had to have those experiences to help other people overcome that, right? So like now I'm
Yeah.
more capable of helping other people in that same position because I know how it feels,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Jill. I really appreciate you coming on with me and talking about what you do and how you help others and all that fun stuff that we've talked about. Oh my gosh, there was so much information that we've talked about. Um, so maybe we can try this again sometime.
oh, did you say we'll have to do it again sometime?
Yes, it would be so much
Yes,
fun.
definitely.
Maybe in a year
Yeah,
we could do it again and see where we're at and what we're doing.
absolutely.
But we'll
Yeah.
definitely talk in between then.
Well, I'm looking forward to it. Thanks for having me on. I really appreciate it.
Well, thank you so much for talking to me and taking your time. And we'll talk to you later. Bye
Bye.
bye.